Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In a decision that will echo for years, the Supreme Court has overturned the tariffs that defined President Trump's second term. This isn't just a legal ruling, it's a political earthquake, redrawing the lines of power between President and Congress. Today, that economic experiment was declared unconstitutional. The decision will impact every American, from factory workers to farmers, and every business trading across borders. This is about more than economics. It's about the fabric of American democracy and the limits of presidential power. The ruling is a powerful check on executive authority, reaffirming that Congress controls trade. The world is watching as America's trade policy enters a new, uncertain chapter. To grasp today's ruling, we must look back at how Trump's second term reignited his signature policy tariffs. Declaring himself tariff man again, Trump used import taxes as his main tool to reshape global trade, invoking the 1977 IEEPA law. The administration claimed national emergencies, like trade deficits and drug flows, justified sweeping tariffs on nearly all trading partners. This was a dramatic escalation. Tariffs soared to levels not seen since the 1930s. Economists warned of inflation and business damage. Legal scholars questioned using EPA for broad trade policy. Despite warnings, the White House pressed on, confident in their legal footing. The impact was immediate. U.S. companies saw costs skyrocket, passing them to consumers. Other countries retaliated, hitting U.S. exporters, especially farmers, hard. The policy created winners and losers, sparking fierce debate over its true costs and benefits. Some trade deals were struck, but the legal foundation remained shaky. A growing coalition of American businesses, burdened by what they saw as illegal taxes, challenged the president's authority in court. Their fight set the stage for today's historic Supreme Court showdown. The administration defended the tariffs as necessary leverage, but the courts would soon decide if that power was constitutional. The stakes, not just trade, but the very limits of presidential authority. The legal fight began with small businesses like Learning Resources Inc. suddenly hit by steep import taxes. They argued the president's actions bypassed Congress's power to tax and regulate trade. After lower courts sided with them, the case reached the Supreme Court. The stakes were high. This was more than tariffs. It was a test of the separation of powers. The outcome would shape presidential authority for years to come. In early November, the Supreme Court chamber became the epicenter of American law and politics. For hours, justices from both sides of the spectrum grilled the administration's arguments. Chief Justice Roberts emphasized that imposing tariffs is Congress's core power, noting "Yao ipit por re inao and por bidandin." Tribunal Justice Gorsuch questioned whether Congress could delegate such fundamental duties to the president. Liberal Justices Kagan and Sotomayor argued that tariffs function as taxes, which only Congress can impose. Justice Barrett raised concerns about the logic of global tariffs for specific emergencies and the administrative chaos of refunding collected money. Even Justice Kavanaugh, often deferential to executive power, doubted the administration's novel use of IEPA. The justices' skepticism was clear. No previous president had used IEPA this way. As arguments ended, court watchers saw the government's case faltering. Prediction markets slashed the administration's odds of victory. A major judicial rebuke seemed imminent. On November 7th, the Supreme Court delivered a decisive 7-2 verdict. The Trump administration had exceeded its authority by using IEPA to impose sweeping tariffs. Chief Justice Roberts' majority opinion was a forceful defense of the separation of powers, declaring that taxing and regulating foreign commerce are Congress's constitutional domain. The court rejected the claim that tariffs were mere regulation, stating plainly, a tax on imports is a duty, and only Congress can set duties. The ruling drew a firm line. IEPA grants the president power to respond to threats but not to rewrite trade policy unilaterally. The decision was joined by conservatives and liberals alike, signaling a broad consensus rooted in constitutional principle. Justice Gorsuch's concurrence warned against Congress delegating its core responsibilities. The ruling invalidates the administration's tariff strategy and affirms limits on executive power, even in emergencies. The president can still use other, more specific trade laws, but those are narrower and require congressional oversight. By striking down IEPA tariffs, the court forces future large-scale trade policy back through Congress. The balance of power has been reset. The Supreme Court's decision sent shockwaves through the economy, raising immediate questions about the $90 billion collected in now illegal tariffs. Refunding that money will be a logistical nightmare, but for businesses, it's a potential lifeline. Industries relying on imports, automakers, electronics, retailers, stand to benefit as costs drop. Consumers are the biggest winners, with relief from higher prices on everyday goods. The Yale Budget Lab estimated the tariffs cut GDP growth. This ruling could help reverse that trend. On the losing side, steel and aluminum producers, now facing renewed foreign competition. Workers in protected sectors may face uncertainty as the market adjusts. The administration's argument for protecting vital industries is now moot. The protective wall is gone. The transition will be tough for some communities, but the broader economy may see renewed growth. The ruling also introduces new uncertainty. Will the administration try to reimpose tariffs under other laws? Businesses may pause investment until the path forward is clear. The immediate impact relief for many, anxiety for some, and a cloud of uncertainty over future trade policy. The Supreme Court's decision is a global event, not just a domestic one. America's trading partners, long battered by tariffs, are breathing a sigh of relief. The removal of IEEPA tariffs eases tensions and could help repair strained alliances, especially with countries like Canada. But trade deals struck under tariff threats, like the EU's massive U.S. energy purchase, are now in question. International lawyer Shantanu Singh warns this could undermine those agreements and breed distrust. The U.S.-China relationship is also upended. China gains a concession without giving much in return. The Trump administration's leverage is weakened, forcing a strategic rethink. Globally, the ruling is seen as a reaffirmation of the rule of law and checks on presidential power. It signals that the U.S. system of checks and balances is robust. Markets may see more stability, but uncertainty remains about the administration's next move. Will Washington pivot to cooperation or seek new ways to pursue America first? The world is watching closely. Legal and political experts agree. This Supreme Court decision is a landmark check on presidential power. The court has declared that while presidents have broad foreign policy powers, they cannot unilaterally rewrite tax and trade laws. This precedent will constrain future presidents tempted to bypass Congress with emergency declarations. Politically, it's a major defeat for Trump, dismantling his central policy and emboldening his opponents. The administration may pivot to other slower and more restrictive trade laws, but those face legal hurdles. For businesses, the removal of IEEPA tariffs brings relief, but confusion remains about what comes next. The administration's next steps, whether to work with Congress or seek new legal loopholes, will shape the economic landscape. Trade deals struck under duress are now in limbo, complicating international diplomacy. The ruling also highlights deep divisions in the U.S. economy. Some communities felt protected, others burdened. The debate over tariffs isn't over. It now returns to Congress, where it belongs. The decision is a reminder: sweeping economic policies should be debated and decided by elected representatives, not imposed by a single leader. The court has put trade policy back in Congress's hands. The future of American trade will be shaped by open debate, not executive fiat. The Supreme Court has spoken. The era of presidentially imposed IEEPA tariffs is over. This closes one chapter of economic policy and opens another, filled with both opportunity and uncertainty. The government now faces the monumental task of refunding $90 billion in tariffs, a complex but necessary step. For businesses and consumers, relief from price pressures is on the horizon. Politically, the Trump administration stands at a crossroads: accept the court's limit and work with Congress, or seek new legal avenues for tariffs. The choice will shape the economy and America's global relationships. Congress, too, is called to action. This is a chance to reclaim its constitutional authority over trade. Lawmakers must now debate the right balance between protecting industries and fostering global commerce. The Supreme Court's ruling is more than a decision on tariffs. It's a reaffirmation of American governance. The power to tax and manage trade remains with the people's representatives. The road ahead is complicated, but the court has reset the constitutional map. This is a moment of clarity and a chance to build a more stable, democratic future. The next chapter in American trade policy begins now.